Hello, everyone. Please take your seats so that we may begin. All right. Now that I've identified most senators who are present in their seats, this meeting will now come to order. Remembered it. As always, we will begin with the utilization of open forum. Would anyone like to use open forum at this time? You may do so. Please come up to either of the microphones. They both should be on.
Yeah. All right. Good evening, everyone in War Eagle. Very unfortunately, I don't have a lot of happy news about Spectrum. It is the time of year where we are getting into the more somber remembrances of the LGBT community. Lots of people are more than happy to come out and celebrate and support us when our events are all rainbows and pride parades and drag queens singing pop songs. But Saturday, November 20th, is the Transgender Day of Remembrance, which, for those of you who are unaware, the TDOV is a day where we honor and remember the members of the transgender community who have died in the past year and continue to remember those who have died in previous years. We will be observing that on Friday, this Friday, November 19th at 7:30 p.m. in the Auburn University Garden of Memory. If any of you are still in Auburn, we would highly encourage you to come out and pay your respects, even if you aren't familiar with anyone who is in the transgender community. Just coming out and showing your support during a less highly celebrated day does wonders for showing the people here at Auburn that people do care about this. The list that Spectrum uses during our Remembrance Vigil comes from, I don't know which website we get it from, but I believe it only counts the people who were murdered in the past year. However, we do also observe the lives of those who committed suicide and those who died preventable deaths due to the fact that discrimination kept them from receiving the resources that they needed. So if any of you are in Auburn Friday night and you haven't left for an early Thanksgiving week, we will be at the Garden of Memory just across from the President's Mansion at 7:30 p.m. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to use open forum at this time? All right, awesome. As we conclude open forum, we're going to move into roll call, and I'll now take the time to announce that I have opened the Zoom room and you all may join. I'd ask that you please refrain from looking at your laptops for the duration of the meeting. However, you can go ahead and join so that voting is smoother, and Jet can also have a visual representation of those present and absent this evening. And I will turn off the waiting room. All right, that will conclude roll call, and we will move into approval of the minutes. Those minutes were sent out electronically in the recap email I sent last week, and again today in my reminder email. Are there any edits to be made to those minutes? Thank you, Elizabeth. Are there any other edits to be made to the minutes? Seeing none, then they are approved and corrected. From here, we will move to reports of executive officers, beginning with the president, Mr. Rhett Wagner.
Hey guys, hope everyone's having a great Monday so far. Couple updates for y'all. As you know, it was a board meeting last week, so it's kind of a long list, but I'll try to run through some of the stuff from that. First thing though, I'm sure you all know that masks are no longer required on campus. So that is for people who are vaccinated. So make sure that if anyone's asking you, you're able to clarify that masks are not required indoors on campus for those who are vaccinated. Next thing, the events last Thursday and Friday that were in partnership with the Board of Trustees event, maybe not in partnership, but happening due to the Board of Trustees meeting that was last Friday, were a great success. I hope you're all able to stop by or at least heard about them or read some of the articles the Plainsman has posted about them. They went really well, some of the best events I've seen since being at Auburn, so that was super exciting. Next thing, recap from some of the Board of Trustees agenda items. First thing, the Hill Residence Hall is going to be coming down by fall 22. That was officially approved, and so it's going to start in spring 22 in kind of two phases. First will be, I can't remember the names of the buildings, but kind of the back buildings, and then a bigger phase over the summer. They're going to leave up Sasnet and Boyd, I think are the names. The two biggest ones are going to stay. So that'll all be done by the start of next fall. Another exciting thing, the village repair and renovation, phase 1 of 4 was approved, and so that means the renovation and repair. Phase 1 is Matthews and Aubie Hall, so that's going to start up immediately as well. Another exciting thing, Jordan Hare's Wi-Fi system is getting replaced. It's a really old system now, and so that's going to get replaced over the off season, and then if they're not able to finish this off season, they'll carry on through the next one. But that'll be way better. Also, just a helpful tip: turn your Wi-Fi off when you're in the stadium. Cell reception has been boosted in the stadium, but not Wi-Fi. So if you turn your Wi-Fi off, you're going to load everything quicker. And tell that to people as well. There's a couple other exciting things. They mentioned that the trustee search that's been opened, they're going to hold interviews in January to fill 3 vacant seats on the Board of Trustees. They recognize Spirit, who's now officially an honorary War Eagle, even though she is not a Golden Eagle. There's an important distinction, so I don't know it, but I'm sure someone does. And then last kind of thing, or 2 more things. First, the EEO DEI module. I don't know if y'all remember me mentioning that from early in the fall. The EverFi module that we were hoping to have up and running at the start of last semester is tentatively going to be released for the start of the spring semester to students. It's a diversity training module, so that'll be exciting. No, 2 more things actually. So the other one is the top tier of university merit scholarships are going to be given out either tonight or tomorrow. So if you have any friends in high school, if they get a scholarship, be like, hey, Auburn's a great place. We'd encourage you to accept that and come here. So just be on the lookout for that. And then the last thing is an alumni update from a student who went here a couple years ago, Caroline Stevens Milner. Graduated in 2015. While she was here, she was Miss Auburn, as well as in Warrior Girls and Plainsman. And she was just named a U.S. Supreme Court clerk for Justice Clarence Thomas, which is a huge honor. If you're not aware of that or what it is, feel free to give her a Google search. But we're proud of our alumni and what they go on to do after they graduate. So that's all from me. Stephen wanted me to tell you all that ring night is going to be on December 2nd. So stay posted for more about that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhett. Next, we will hear from Mr. Tyler Ward with Cabinet Administration. Please give him your attention.
Hello. So not much. Fall Feast is going to be tomorrow. Molly wanted me to let you guys know. So it's from 5 to 10 in the Edge. Vouchers are available to SGA and ISO members, I guess is the word. So if you are here tomorrow, please make sure to go support that Fall Feast. Also, holiday lighting will be the Sunday after the Iron Bowl. So make sure that you guys check that out at Sanford Hall. And then I'll be sending you guys an email tomorrow with just some volunteer signups for both Better Relations Day on Thursday and Up All Night that's coming up. And so if you guys are here, come party with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. This will conclude our executive reports from the evening. And from there, we will move into reports from standing colleges, Please remember, if your college does have a report, to come up and speak at one of the 2 available microphones. And with that, we will begin with at-large. Agriculture. Business.
McDonald business. This week we had 2 pieces of game day feedback. First, this week, a lot of people who were trying to use a resold Tiger card, which is illegal, were denied, like Michael talked about last week. And if you haven't already seen, our student section was pretty empty by the end of the game last week, and people were just leaving at halftime, and a lot of people were upset about that. Thanks.
Thank you. We'll skip CAD C and go to COSAM next.
Cooper, COSAM, no reports.
Next, we will hear from education. Then to engineering.
I never know how to fix it. Okay, that works. Second year engineering. A few things for us. We had an email sent out by Dr. Fergus last week about some issues in the College of Engineering with discrimination and harassment. So he provided some resources for us, including an online forum where you can actually report instances of this happening in your classes and stuff like that. And that will help them keep track of repeat offenders and also these instances occurring in the college. He also provided himself as a resource, as well as a few other faculty members, which I thought was very nice of him. So I have coffee with Camille tomorrow, who's our school's council president, to talk about some stuff with upcoming elections. And Riley actually sent out an email to our entire college about what Senate is, what SGA is, and as well as with a link to ticket interviews, which will happen the week after Thanksgiving. So thanks.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Forestry and Wildlife Sciences.
Starling School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences. So our school's council has recently begun working on our constitution. We're doing it in phases. We're starting on the first 3 chapters, I think, right now. So if you guys wouldn't mind sending me maybe a copy of y'all's school's council constitution, that way we can see what we need to follow and how best it can be done. That's all. They are? Good. Thank you.
Next to the graduate school.
DeBoer Graduate School. So a few things you may have seen in the AU Weekly email. I know it was on the side. I don't know if the rest of y'all actually read all of the things that are in there, but there was a note about career chats. So I'm really excited about that. One of the things that we commonly hear from graduate students is not hearing about all the opportunities that are available, because most of the career fairs are oriented more towards undergraduate students, and some companies that are there aren't even interested in speaking to someone who's going to have a master's or a doctorate. And so there's a really wide range of alumni that are going to be speaking that are in academia, but also that are in other fields, and ranging from those who've received a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and or a PhD from Auburn. So if you'd like to, I recommend you check it out. It is co-sponsored between the Career Center and the Graduate Student Council. But again, it's a really great opportunity to ask questions and learn more about some of what our alumni are doing. And each of the Zoom sessions are based on the colleges, so you can just go to your relevant college. And yeah, there's that. I'm looking forward to feedback from that to see if the graduate students feel that that is something that meets what they are looking for in terms of opportunities for future careers. Also, graduate student mentorship survey that went out last week. I'll be sending a follow-up email tomorrow because it'll close next Monday. The student health insurance seminar that was held a couple of weeks ago, all the resources have been compiled, and I've shared that with the student insurance coordinators. I'm really excited because during those sessions, we also learned about more collaboration that's available to the med clinic office manager and the student insurance coordinators, because they actually haven't been in communication before. So hopefully that's going to help bridge a gap in that communication. And I'll be sending on the compiled resources to the schools council representatives as well. And then also in the reminder emails that are sent out to our graduate student council senators tomorrow will include information about elections and how we're going to be recommending students to run for positions through SGA, as well as executive positions that are through graduate student council in February. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We'll next hear from Human Sciences.
Williams Human Sciences, no report.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from Liberal Arts.
Belster Liberal Arts, no report.
Thank you. Next to Nursing.
Sefton Nursing, no report.
Then Pharmacy.
Meeks Pharmacy, no report.
And finally, Veterinary Medicine.
Gordon, Vet, no report.
Thank you. This will conclude our reports from the standing colleges, and we'll now move into reports from our committees, beginning with Academic Affairs.
McElroy, Liberal Arts. So first, I want to give a shout out to our freshman mentee, Bennett Harris. He's begun looking into finals being proctored in the same room that the materials were taught in. So getting your final exams taken in the same room that you had the class in. Our equitable mentorships for grad student survey already has 250 responses, and it's only been a week. And then our timely grade implementation resolution is making significant progress. In addition, I'd like to move to push the assignment due dates posted to the Canvas calendar resolution from the table back to a future order.
A motion has been made. Are there any questions? Is there a second? Oh, a question. Wait. Gavin, you can answer that question.
Okay. Yeah, I was able to meet with faculty on last Thursday and have that conversation. I met with the Faculty Senate's Academic Affairs Chair, and so we are in collaboration now.
Are there any further questions? Is there a second? Second. It is moved and seconded to adopt the motion just as spoken. Is there any debate? Seeing none, we will move into a vote. All of those in favor of untabling the previously tabled resolution, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. Thank you. It is passed, and it will now be listed as a future order. Having concluded the Academic Affairs Committee report, we will now hear from the Budget and Finance Committee report.
Lisenby at large, lots from us coming up tonight. We have 2 program expansion requests. They're both for shirts and name tags and from the service student activity portfolio. One is for Beat Bama Food Drive and the other is for AUDM. So with that being said, I move to push PSSB 21112901 and PSSB 21112902 to future orders. Current orders, sorry.
Are there any questions? Is there a second? The motion is seconded. Is there any debate? Reese, you would be offered the first point of debate.
Sure. So the reason we want to push these up is so that they can get their money faster than a 2-week delay because of the Thanksgiving break. That's all.
Is there any further debate? Seeing none, we will move into a vote. All of those in favor of approving Reese's motion, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The motion passes and they are moved to current orders. Next, we will hear from the Code of Laws Committee.
Mathner Education. So if y'all remember last week whenever I mentioned our conversation with the civic engagement team from Cabinet, I mentioned that we would be trying to finalize this past week in committee when they came again a survey request, and that survey request would have been asking students their thoughts on kind of where that day would come from, that we would be trying to push having voting day as a holiday on campus, because that's come from somewhere. And this past week in committee, we decided to not move forward with the survey request just yet. There's a lot of factors that went into that. We kind of weighed the pros and cons, but one of the main ones being that there's currently no faculty member or administrator on the academic calendar committee. So Michael and Abby Runson are kind of like at a crossroads there and aren't able to move forward with that or be able to present the information that we would get from a survey to anyone that would be able to really do anything about it quite yet. So with that, we kind of decided to just keep moving forward with the referendum. If y'all have questions about exactly how the referendum will work, I'd be happy to explain it. Or if y'all just want to like kind of have any resources to look at that we've been kind of looking at with peer institutions or anything, I can pass those along as well. But the only thing other than that is that we're about to finish our schools council chapter audits, and we should have them finished by this week in committee, and we'll submit those to Jamie to be checked. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Kylan. I just want to make sure the minutes reflect that there's no faculty or administrative chair of that committee. Not just member, but chair. And next, we will hear from the DEI committee.
Belser Liberal Arts, not much for me this week. I was sick last week, so we had to move a few things around, but I will be attending Senator Mathner's committee this week to go over a few different bills related to some code stuff. Just to clarify that, John David Jones collected some feedback on a few things, but one that was really important is he's collected some feedback regarding dining plans that are from off campus, suggesting that it sees an increase because students have been running out of that money that's just particularly dining dollars. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Next, we'll hear from the Student Affairs Committee.
Matthews at large. Not much for me either. Kate is unfortunately sick with the flu. I know that's kind of going around, so make sure you say and try and keep your immune system up and just take all the precautions. I know masks are gone, but still take precautions. From her, she had a meeting with her housing contact on Friday, and the housing contact would love for us to push RA for people to join and try and be RAs, as that's a good way to live cheap and also get paid. So if one of your friends is talking to you about that, kind of push that forward on them. And then secondly, kind of hitting off of Tyler's note on the fall feast tomorrow, just a couple more details. It's from 5 to 10, as he said. We have 300 vouchers, so I'd love to see all those gone fairly quickly. Love to see us all in there hanging out. And then finally, it is a Thanksgiving meal, so it'll be your traditional Thanksgiving feast. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from the Executive Committee.
Sullivan Engineering. So as always, office hours will be closing after this meeting, and I'll be right up there to check. So if you haven't filled those out, please excuse me, fill those out. We will be conducting office hours over this next week, like prior to the 11/29 meeting. However, the week before exams, you will not be required to complete office hours. Of course, if you have extra time and you want to work on SGA related stuff, that's definitely encouraged. But since there's not an SGA or Senate meeting the following week and exams are that week, take the time to prepare for your exams, do well, keep a 2.5 GPA so we don't have to kick you out. Next, city execs meeting on Thursday morning at 7 a.m. 15 of you have yet to attend this this semester. You are required to attend one per semester. So I do expect a fun, large crowd there this Thursday morning at 7. It's a great way to start your day. Honestly, can't imagine a better way to start my Thursday. So I look forward to having you there. And then, as always, we will have dining hour signups.
The computer's having a small meltdown, sorry. God bless her.
So that is 6 people. There's 2 spots left. If anybody, I did see that there was 2 spots for one night that aren't there anymore. Was that accidental, or is that? I think it was y'all.
We filled it, but then there's the dinner tomorrow night, so we thought that there's already going to be that much.
Good call. I like that. So anybody for signups for dining hours? We've got 2 more spots. This is the week that they are doing the filming for the SGA video. So if you kind of want, the clout of being in a cool video shared by Tiger Dining, for sure. Could have guessed.
I'm in class.
So you need to be taken off? Wait, Brandon, we meet at 12:15 on Wednesdays, so if you're coming to go to
That's so
calls.
right. That's so right. And I meet as well. Sorry, take that.
So no, just
Yeah. Wow.
So now there are 3 spots open.
There are 3 spots that need to be filled.
Especially if anyone can do Wednesday from 12 to 1, just to, get to sit with Sydney, have a good time.
I'm just waiting for everyone to check their schedules. The only reason these have to be filled is this week we are filming for the C&M's project. And so I would really appreciate all 8 slots being filled.
People are considering it, I see.
I see people conversating. Yes, Ashton. Wonderful.
One more spot. Sure.
That would honestly be perfect.
Twelve 12 to 1? Okay.
Thursday, 12 to 1.
Perfect.
Awesome. That completes the sign up.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. This will conclude the exec report for the evening, which will also conclude our standing committee reports. From here, we will move to our reports from our liaisons, and that will begin with a report from Mr. Luke Owens from the Honors Congress.
Owens, Honors Congress Liaison. Can I just say, it feels really, really good to show my whole face again. Not much from me tonight. We are officially collecting all of our donated cans for the Beat Bama Food Drive at the next meeting. We will be appointing a new freshman director of the media committee as applications closed last Friday. We are looking forward to giving another younger member another leadership opportunity. And our next meeting is November 17th, and it is a working meeting. Thank you, and have a great rest of your week.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Mr. Donovan Evans with BSU. Thank you. Finally, we will hear from Ms. Leah Stewart with the Auburn Student Veterans Association.
Stewart for Student Veterans. The main thing, of course, Operation Iron Rook is we just thank y'all in advance for any support that you may give. Of course, we do have that graphic. So if you could just, I don't know if are you going to send that out, Cole, this week? So just, if you could just push that out on your socials, whether it be for your organization social or just your personal one, just to get the word out so that people can kind of be on the lookout. On a brighter side of things, so today, a kind gentleman from one of the Baptist churches here donated about 120 pounds worth of items for us to carry in our rucksacks. So that was pretty dope. And he also gave us a donation, so that was pretty awesome. But yeah, that's just the main thing that we're pushing this week is Operation Iron Ruck in preparation for next week. We will be going down to T-Town Tuesday afternoon. Are we having a meeting on next Monday? Okay, so then, yeah, y'all ain't gonna see me no more. Just be on the lookout during your Thanksgiving break. Just check your socials. We'll be posting videos and things like that. And I look forward to seeing y'all in the spring. Y'all have a fantastic Thanksgiving break and all that jazz.
Thank you, Leah.
This is my last year as the liaison. Somebody will be replacing me. Yeah, I'm moving. I've been here for 3 years, y'all. I've given y'all enough time. Listen, y'all making me blush. You can't do that. I'm running for the ASBA president slot, so. But yeah, don't do that. Y'all making me blush. Can't do that. But it's been a pleasure working with y'all, and I look forward to seeing y'all after the holiday break. So that's it.
Thank you, Leah. Is there any report from the freshman committee?
No report.
Thank you. Having concluded our reports from our liaisons, we will now move into current orders for the evening. What Jamie and I were finagling with, just to provide a brief explanation, is that traditionally the bills would be listed in alphabetical order. However, since we just moved some from future to current, we try to change them. However, we do realize it would require a motion to change those numberings. So they're not in alphabetical order. However, we're just going to go with it. It's no worries. So the first one is PSSB 21-11-1501, presented by Mr. Justin for the Student Government Association carryover request.
Justin Engineering, I ask for the approval of the following: the carryover total of $904 for the Student Government Association Student Activity Portfolio for the 2021-22 fiscal year budget. We have $400 for September Senate meetings, $300 for Eagle Eye live streams for final budget, and $204 for flyers for Hay Day.
Are there any questions?
So I know there were some questions last week regarding the first line item for September 2021 Senate meetings. Has that been clarified?
I can answer this, or you can.
You can go ahead.
Yes, so that first one is going to be for the Eagle Eye fee for our September Senate meetings, which, October to September is the fiscal year area when we change fiscal years. So that's why we have those included. And then also, what's not included in our regular fee for these meetings was when the Budget and Finance Committee had their final budget hearings to approve the budgets that we all recently did approve, that we're now approving the carryover requests for, and they charged $300 to film that. Because it was, Reese, how long was that?
It's like set for 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah. So it's set for 5 to 6 hours. So that is what it is for. Are there any further questions?
I move to pass this bill as written.
Is there a second? Seeing a second, I will now ask if there is any debate. Is there any debate? Seeing none, we will move into a vote. All of those in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and comment yes into the Zoom chat. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The ayes have it, and this bill is passed as written. Our next current order for the evening will be PSSB 21111502, presented by Sydney Williams for the International Student Organization carryover request.
Williams Human Sciences, I ask for approval of the following: the carryover total of $5,983.80 for the International Student Organization Student Activity Portfolio for the 2021-2022 fiscal year budget. Social hour with the African Student Association on September 17th for $1,966.40. Social hour with the the Association of Indonesian Students for $2,398.40, and social hour with the Nepalese Student Association for $1,619. I move to pass this bill as written.
Seeing a second, is there any debate? All right, seeing none, we will move into a vote. All of those in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and comment yes into the chat. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The ayes have it, and this bill is passed as written. We will now move into the third current order of the evening, being PSSB 21111503, presented by Senator Sefton for the Beat Bama Food Drive program expansion request for shirts and name tags.
Sefton Nursing, I ask for the approval of the following: a program expansion fund allocation of $2,750 to the service student activity portfolio for the shirts and name tags line item for Beat Bama Food Drive. This increase in funding will be used to accommodate the increased number of team members serving with Beat Bama Food Drive this year.
Are there any questions?
I move to pass this bill as written.
Is there a second? Seeing a second, we will move into debate. Is there any debate? Seeing none, we will move into a vote. All of those in favor, please say aye and comment yes into the chat. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The bill is passed as written. We will now move into our fourth current order for the evening, being PSSB 21111504, presented by Senator Williams for the AUDM program expansion request for shirts and name tags.
Williams Human Sciences, hello again. I ask for approval of the following: the amount of $1,200 to be allocated to the Service Student Activity Portfolio from the Program Expansion Fund for the Auburn University Dance Marathon shirts and name tags line item. This increase in this line item will allow for payment of the tank tops for the morale team. The individually customized tank tops cost approximately $25 per tank, and there are approximately 50 people on morale. I move to pass this bill as written.
Is there a second? Seeing a second, we'll move into a debate. Is there any debate? Seeing none, we will move into a vote. All of those in favor of passing this bill as written, please say aye and comment yes into the chat. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. Chet tells me the ayes have it, and therefore this bill is passed as written. While Jamie is getting the screen figured out, we can go ahead and begin with the only future order we have on the board, being, if I can think correctly, that would be PSSR 2111. I don't know the next Monday. 2901. Your future order. Brooks' future order. And Collins. Presented by Senator Bryant and Morgan. You can popcorn read. You can each do just one. One would only have to read.
Morgan Agriculture, I move to suspend rules to move this to a current order. Yes.
A motion has been made to suspend the rules of order so that this resolution could be moved from a future to a current order. Are there any questions?
engineering, why are we looking into a current order?
I will allow Brooke to answer or to deflect that answer to Gavin.
Okay, we're moving it to a future order because they're or to a current order because we've had some meetings with the Academic Affairs Chair of Faculty Senate, and so there's going to be ongoing meetings, but we need it to pass now so that we can have those meetings, so that we can take it through the Faculty Senate like on schedule in January or February, as they have a lot on their schedule at that time.
So passing in December prevents it from like being faculty Senate by January?
Passing it later than now prevents us from having those meetings either next week or the week after, I guess the week after, as we don't have Senate. And so that's when we'd like to have those meetings, but we can't have those meetings until the resolutions actually passed, because there's no reason in meeting with the faculty a lot until it's actually passed to the students.
Please remember to say your name and college before speaking. Are there any further questions?
Williamson Sciences. So it was like suspended originally because you needed more feedback and you wanted to, because you needed more feedback. I started suspending originally and you got it, and now you want it to just clarify.
I can answer that if you're okay with it. Originally, it was we were needing feedback from somebody on the Faculty Senate. Just wondering the opinion of how that would be perceived if it was presented on their floor. We had that through a meeting that Gavin set up with the Academic Affairs Chair, and post receiving that feedback, Gavin decided to. Did I get that correctly? Yes.
So you did business. What wasn't the feedback you got from the faculty?
Gavin, I'll allow you to do that.
McElroy Liberal Arts. So the Academic Affairs Chair of the Faculty Senate said that while there may be some pushback from faculty on this particular resolution, that he thinks that it's still something that that the faculty need to hear because it's the voice of the students. And he said that the best way to approach that would be for Rhett to actually go, as he is technically a member of the Faculty Senate, and to push it through that way, to bring it as a future order and a current order to the faculty.
Just so the minutes will be reflected, we're not sure Mr. Tom was correct on that. Rhett, although he does sit at Faculty Senate, is not a faculty senator. But the point is still there.
Matthews at large, by pushing this up to a current order, what's our timeline on, I guess, getting it implemented, or like what's the need to push it up so soon? Is this so that we can have it implemented for the spring semester, or is this just, I'm just confused on like the timeline aspect?
Gavin, would you like to answer that?
McElroy Liberal Arts. As our term is coming to an end, I would like to have the meetings with the Academic Affairs Chair there and all the other faculty that need to be involved in that decision, as well as Cole and Rhett, the week after Thanksgiving break. That way we can bring it through the Faculty Senate before our term is up, while we're still able to do that.
Are there any further questions? All right, a motion has been made. Is there a second? Seeing a second, we will move into debate. Is there any debate?
Sullivan Engineering. Just personally speaking, I do not think this bill should be passed or should be moved up to a current order. The point of having the future order, current order system is that when a bill is a future order, we get a chance to see it, we get a chance to read through it, get a chance to understand what it's saying, and we take that information and go out to our constituents and ensure that that's what they want. By tabling the bill last week, we weren't able to ever talk about it. I'm sure no one in this room talked to anybody about it because it was a tabled bill. We didn't need to talk about it because it wasn't on the table anymore, or it wasn't on the floor anymore. So I feel like we're kind of taking away the opportunity to kind of spend a week to digest what this bill is actually talking about, and then voting on it on the 29th. We do move stuff up all the time. when that happens, it's usually on a time crunch. I feel like the needing to pass it by January isn't exactly a solid argument. This bill will not take effect until at least fall 2022 if it's going to be voted on in January by the Faculty Senate. I understand the need to kind of have these meetings, but we've already had meetings with people on the Senate. We can continue to do that. I also get the need that you say you might want to pass it by the end of our term. Yes, it is important that we wrap up all the work, but if following proper procedure pushes it past our term, transition materials and conversations with the next committee chair can more than make up for having it happen. I just feel like the need to pass it, move it forward, doesn't justify like getting rid of the 1 week of like, digestion and making sure that this actually is what our constituents want.
Is there any further debate?
Math or education, just to clarify, Graf, when you say that this has to be passed through the faculty senate, or did I?
That is what I took from Gavin saying why, or Senator McElroy, why it needed to be passed. This week they could have meetings prior to the faculty senate meeting in January.
Math and education, Gavin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking Gavin meant just meetings with faculty, not necessarily at the faculty senate. Like when Senator Sullivan said that he was interpreting you saying that you wanted to meet faculty, saying that you had to go to faculty senate, did you mean that you were hoping that Rhett would portray this information in faculty senate and also you could continue having meetings outside of faculty senate with faculty?
Paul, if any response needs to be made publicly, stood up loudly.
Yes, so the goal was to have meetings with faculty, as there are a few different faculty that we actually want to bring in the fold, because we feel it would help to have some people in the video center to help us out, as anything that's going to make this easier for faculty to implement would only aid the case in the faculty senate. The whole point of bringing it to the faculty senate is so that the faculty senate will see it, whether or not they choose to vote on it, or to vote it through, which obviously we hope that they would listen to the voice of the students and pass it through. It at least would have, I guess, the point of being able to express the will of the students to the faculty senate.
Matthews at large. I'd like to yield my time to President Rhett Wagner.
Yeah, I'm going to come up here and try to maybe fill in some of the context on this. So we've been talking a lot about faculty senate. The reason that we felt like this bill needed to be discussed with faculty senate is because we didn't necessarily know what control faculty senate or the provost office or any of these governing bodies had over mandating that their professors use Canvas a certain way. And until those questions are answered, I think it is kind of impossible to have a timeline of when this actual result would be seen. I think what Gavin was trying to say earlier, Senator McElroy, is that if we pass this legislation, we're able to have a little more legs going into that meeting saying this is what the students have confirmed to be the opinion of the student body. And that's the purpose of Senate legislation. And so if you're able to take that into a meeting, I think it changes maybe the context of the meeting to say this is what our student Senate wants. But in terms of the questions that need to be answered and why the bill was tabled, it was to try to get answers to that question of what's going to happen if we say, hey, we'd love for you to mandate that every teacher has to put all their assignments on Canvas. And maybe Gavin, maybe that's another point for him to be able to speak, but I don't necessarily know if they have the ability to control how professors use Canvas. I know that they can't control, they can't even require, the provost office can't even require that professors use Canvas, period. So it would be a stretch to say that they could tell them how to use their Canvas that they're not required to have. However, that this legislation being passed would be just a little bit more ammunition going into a meeting to talk about that. So hopefully that's helpful context.
Thank you, Rhett. I don't know whose hand was up first.
Well, sir, liberal arts, I think it's fine that we want to go ahead and pass this, but I think that we are missing a crucial opportunity to be able to actually collect feedback on the bill itself from our constituents. And I think it's, we had a survey, and there was a survey that was conducted, and now it's all getting well defined. But I think that people want to see, to be able to talk about this legislation and say, and especially to the clause where it talks about how much time students spend on their phone and how much time students, engage academic resources on their phones. It'll be really important to see from college to college, which is why we're all represented from different colleges, about the ways that people have engaged with Canvas, so that whenever we, take it to the faculty senate, and that's fine, but when we can engage with our deans and engage with people within our college, we can actually get, we can not just have some ammunition to throw at something, but actually on a college level make some concerted effort that we, try to, talk to our constituents about it. So I think that we can really see an advantage from using that time to talk to our students.
The author is allowed to respond to a point of debate.
Morgan, Agriculture. I think the core of this bill itself is based solely on constituent feedback. I don't think you can find one student on this campus that would think this is something they do not want. I mean, personally, I've missed assignments that weren't posted on Canvas. I probably can assume that majority of people on here have had non-Canvas assignments posted that are not on their calendar. And myself, included as well as our academics committee, has talked to many constituents during office hours and gotten positive feedback on this. I really do not think there's anyone student-wise, which is what we're representing, that would disagree with this bill.
Engineering. Just to kind of respond to Senator Mather's point, I don't think there's any denying that. Let me take a step back. I'm not trying to debate the content of this bill at all. I'm more saying we keep talking about how this kind of resolution just kind of provides a really strong voice and ammunition in meetings. However, I think by tabling the bill last week, then coming back in, throwing it up, passing it through, moving it up to a future order, and just sitting it through, unanimously voting yes, really takes away from that ammunition. I think it looks very scarce. I think it looks like we're confused. We don't know what's going on. We don't really know how to pass this bill. We're like, oh, okay, like we're just going to listen to people that tell us. President Wagner comes up here and says, table it, we table it. He says, come here and push it forward, we push it forward. And so I think it kind of takes away a little bit of our ammunition by just going on and just kind of table, push forward, pass. But not going through the actual proper procedure of taking your time, having it as a future order, talking about it with your constituents, debating it as a future order, and then passing it. So if we're talking about how we want to see a strong voice of students, that's the reason we have all these processes in order, is so that they know that we did our due diligence and that we went through every single step necessary, and we passed the bill that accurately reflects the students. And I'm not saying this bill doesn't reflect the voice of students. I'm just saying that there is a procedure in place, and that's the reason for it. So when we go to faculty, we can say, look what we did our groundwork, we did what was necessary, and this is a strong voice of students, and now you need to listen to it.
Is there any further debate?
Matthews at large. I agree with draft that has been pushed forward, but with the fact that Brooke and Gavin and the academic affairs, this is Brooke's main initiative that she's worked on for her entire term. She's done the feedback, she's done the research. We put out the survey. Yes, we did table it last week. That was so Gavin could have a meeting with the faculty senator academics chair so that he could gain more insight on what he needs to do next. And the faculty senate academic chair told him to push this forward as he could take this to faculty. So, I mean, my only problem with this, I think this is great. I think, as Brooke stated, every student is for this. The only thing that I don't want this to be passed through and then we take it in there and then immediately shoot it down. As long as this is ammunition, and this is good ammunition that we can take to faculty to help push this through and make it actually an initiative that comes to fruition, I see no reason why to not pass it tonight. I don't think keeping it as a future order for another week will do that much effect, as Brooke and everybody has already done the main research on this. So that's just my thoughts.
Sullivan Engineering, just to respond to Senator Matt's point, if that was the case, if all we had to do was just do our job, then we would never have future orders. I hope that everyone does their due diligence on every bill. I hope that you put in the work, you put in the back, you prepare. And so for every bill, it still comes through the future order. It's still the system that's put in place, and it's still kind of the necessary steps for a bill to pass. So just because Senator Hudson and Senator Bryant have done a great job preparing, that's what happens with every bill. Every bill is well prepared, every bill is well thought out, every bill is well researched, every bill has lots of feedback behind it. It's still a future order coming to a current order.
As debate continues, might I remind that you cannot speak until I have called on you. So, Hope, you can go next.
Johnson Business. I think all these opinions are great, but at the same time, I think everyone's opinions have been well heard out, and we all have ours at this point. So therefore, I'm moving to debate.
A motion has been made to end debate. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been seconded. We will now move into a vote. All of those in favor of ending debate, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. Has everyone had the chance to vote who wanted to? All right, in that case, the ayes have it, and debate ceases. Therefore, we are now back to the original question, the motion that was at hand, which is now the vote of whether or not to pass this, to move this from a future order to a current order for the evening. And so, as debate has ceased on that matter, we will now vote on whether or not to pass this, move this to a current order. Therefore, if you comment aye and say yes, you're voting to move this to a current order. If you say no and comment no, you're voting to keep this as a future order where it will be presented as a current order at our next Senate meeting. So with that having been clarified, all of those in favor, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The ayes have it, and this resolution is passed as written. Excuse me. So sorry. Can you guys tell? This is now moved to a current order. And therefore, you may now read this current order.
Morgan Agriculture, whereas while the Student Government Association of Auburn University acknowledges and appreciates the efforts of faculty to provide accessible resources to the student body of Auburn University, there is still progress to be made regarding the posting of assignments, tests, discussions, quizzes, and other class materials to the Canvas calendar. And whereas constituent feedback emphasizes students struggling to keep track of assignments for their different classes where assignment, quiz, and test grades are not input into the Canvas calendar, especially regarding online classes. And whereas many faculty use alternative resources for the education of their students, including but not limited to Packback, Alex, WebAssign, Mastering, Inquisitive, Top Hat, MyMathLab, OneNote, and Wiley Plus for the submission of assignments, tests, discussions, quizzes, and other class materials. And whereas SGA senators have collectively heard student issues with tracking assignments posted through the aforementioned alternative resources without having access to due dates posted to the Canvas calendar, especially in the case of students required to use multiple resources during a single semester. And whereas the Student Senate has been informed of repeated instances of overdue or missing assignments, tests, and quizzes, along with grade penalties resulting from assignments not appearing on their Canvas calendar, with a significant number of students having missed an assignment on an additional instructional platform because the due date was not posted to Canvas. And whereas Canvas allows assignments to be included automatically in the Canvas calendar once the instructor posts an assignment on their Canvas page.
Can I read the second half?
I do believe one author has to read, but at this point, go for it, Colin.
All right. Can you finish reading the first page, please?
Oh, that was in the first page, my bad. And whereas notification settings may be adjusted in Canvas by individual students and faculty to easily share updates, reminders for courses in Canvas to AU email and approved medium of communication at Auburn University, and whereas a survey conducted by market research firm Solidity Solutions found that 18 to 24-year-olds will check their smartphones more than twice the national average of 96 times a day.
And Bryant Engineering, whereas a study published by the U.S. National Library of Medicine in collaboration with the National Institutes of Health found that, on average, college-age students will spend at least 2.75 hours a day on their smartphones, making Canvas notifications the single most beneficial way to reach college students. And whereas Auburn University's BGO Center provides online resources to aid with importing Canvas calendars Outlook, occupying the same application as AU email, as well as allowing students and faculty to directly import their Canvas calendars into a user's Google Calendar, a preferred organizational method for many faculty and students. And whereas Auburn University's BGO Center provides resources to aid with integrating online resources and applications, including Packback, Panopto, iClicker, Top Hat, Honorlock, etc., and whereas Canvas has added a support option with the goal of addressing questions in real time, with guides giving support in accordance with the user's roles and needs. New features accessible to faculty in this update include lists of the most frequently asked questions and assistance for creating new assignments, how to notify students about assignment changes, or importing course content without the user ever having to leave Canvas. And whereas a study conducted by the Greenfield Online found that 47% of college students in America feel their high school did not prepare them with the organizational skills required to do well in college, and the Canvas calendar offers an immediate boost to a student's organizational repertoire. Therefore, let it be resolved that we, the Auburn University Student Senate, acknowledge that while students are responsible for their assignments, Auburn University believes in the human touch, which cultivates sympathy with my fellow men and mutual helpfulness for all. And therefore, let it be further resolved that we, the Auburn University Student Senate, request that professors, regardless of the platform in which their educational tools reside, post a due date for all assignments due through alternative platforms to Canvas so that students may be notified and remain informed of their academic responsibilities.
Are there any questions? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see you. Yes, Elizabeth.
More graduate school. I just mostly have a question about this being the first resolution of the evening, so should it be PSSSR 01?
Oh, you're right. You're so smart. Good catch.
Thank you. I didn't catch that.
Good job. Gold star.
Oh, we have a couple questions.
Yes, Coleman.
Trustee at large. So this resolution, within what sort of time frame do the professors have to post their notifications of assignments to Canvas?
I believe I can answer this. As Rhett said earlier, there is no requirement to use Canvas by a professor from the provost's office. Senator Matthews.
Matthews at large. I think what Coleman was trying to say is that, say there's an assignment due in the middle of the semester, is that a professor required to post it at the beginning of the semester or a month in advance?
I don't have the knowledge to answer that question. Would an author or Gavin like to respond? All right. Gavin, you can answer.
Liberal arts. Well, I believe that assignments are supposed to be put into the syllabus by faculty. And And so if it was in the syllabus and they have the dates outlined in the syllabus, then they'd be able to put it in at the beginning of the semester. However, if, say it's like a pack back question, or I mean, I guess like maybe a top hat or something that the teacher creates, you know, midway through, and they have it in the syllabus but they haven't created it in the system yet, then it can come in whenever they actually create it in that different platform. That's when they would have this as well.
Brandon?
Mostly liberal arts, but there's no part of the bill where it specifically specifies connecting syllabus, the date that it finishes.
I'm not sure this is a question, Brandon.
It's about it's
Okay.
So I guess is there anywhere in the bill where it is directly sort of related to the deadline of the syllabus being the suggestion for a campus page to be updated?
Brooke?
Morgan, agriculture, no, because like Gavin had just said, professors can post assignments at any point in the semester. So the major ask here is if you have something on an alternative resource, you need to have that in Canvas as well. So students can see the assignment on Canvas where we use it.
Are there any further questions? Graph.
If a professor used a platform that was not Canvas, but they used it exclusively, so for example, my Calculus 1, 2, and 3 class all strictly used WebAssign, and all my assignments were posted WebAssign, would the professor then be expected to upload all of their assignments only Canvas, even though they as a professor, don't use Canvas as their main platform for teaching? They use WebAssign, so all of my assignments are already there.
Brooke, would you like to answer?
So Morgan, agriculture. So on Canvas, you can make the assignments without anything except for the assignment itself. So it can be put in as a due date without having any other information other than the assignment date and what it is. So it would literally be the professor just putting in this assignment on this day and what it is with no information, nothing required other than that assignment and its date.
I believe Gavin had his hand up next.
In addition, I think that point is similar to like if
I was gonna say I'm not sure that's a question unless I'll allow you to add on if you'd like.
well, just like it's the same point as if a professor were to not use Canvas at all, just because they don't use Canvas at all, and they do all of their stuff, you know, in person, and they give you assignments in class. Like they should still, you know, have to put all of that in the Canvas calendar as well.
Any further questions? Artie.
Hi, Co-Sam. Kind of bouncing off of Senator Sullivan's question, would you agree that the whole merit of this piece of legislation, this resolution, is to have that centralized location? So yeah, it might be that extra step for the professor, but it's to make the student's life kind of less burdensome and kind of consolidating all your work together. That's the initial goal of this.
Brooke, you may answer.
Morgan, agriculture, yes. The major point of this is obviously to not get professors to stop using these websites, but to have them on Canvas where it will be on calendar and make the students' life easier to be able to see all their assignments on the calendar. And as listed on a couple of the whereas statements as well, there's many alternative resources to use calendar, like putting on your Google Calendar, having notifications on your smart device. There's many benefits to this, and the Big O Center offers a lot of help to professors to make that easier for them as well.
Are there any further questions?
Solid engineering. So I see that obviously, I think just generally speaking, having kind of this kind of feature would be nice for students. And you do argue that students have missed assignments because it was posted on a different calendar. But have you talked to anyone professionally or in the working world about whether a central calendar is provided to them? And if so, do you think that this resolution of passing this encouraging where every single event in your life has only one calendar provided to you by someone else is actively preparing you for the real world?
Brooke, you may answer.
Morgan, agriculture. We are still in college, and Auburn offers us many resources to aid in developing students and as working adults. We are not currently working adults, though we are college students, given many benefits from Auburn University, including Canvas. And when that tool is already there in place for students to have access to, and it's not being utilized by professors, that's the issue. They can go in and make assignments to help the student body, and it's already in place with so many additional helping tools for them as well with Big EO, that it's not a huge ask to ask them to do something that's already in place for them to have used.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, we will now move into debate. Have you motioned already? I don't remember, honestly. Now that questions have ended, you may motion.
I move to pass this bill as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seeing a second, we will now move into debate. Brooke, if there is debate, you do have the first point of debate as the author.
Morgan, agriculture. I know there's been a lot of issues with this bill as it is, but if you read it as it is now, we have outside studies conducted as well as resources given to professors. But honestly, I don't think the issues with professors should be the main point here. We are representing the student body and what students want, and I think we all can agree as senators and students ourselves that this is a major issue for us that we all probably have faced being students here even as freshmen, and it needs to be passed because we are representing the student body.
I would also like to say that Colin is an equal author, and you may also have a point. If you choose so. Is there any further debate?
I think with this ask, especially if we're going towards with the thought of passing it in the Senate in the future, we're walking a fine line between this is an ask and this is holding professors responsible versus creation of students' responsibility. Well, I think the core of the bill is good. There are a few things that just with the this thing about cell phones, about that way, it feels like we're asking faculty to learn something that should be a responsibility. So yeah, I think that the core bill is good. I think the research is good with the student body, but I think things can be rewritten and be worded with the thought that it is going to be
I think the next hand I saw was Reese.
Listen, be at large. So growing off of Senator Sullivan's point, yes, that's a great point as into preparing us for the working world. But in a job you're getting paid, we are currently paying tuition, so the professors should be, in a sense, catering to what we are doing and what we are asking for. So while this may look like, oh, we're asking them or wanting them to do a requirement, they're getting paid to do this for us. So.
And then Ms. DeVore.
Board, graduate school. So I can speak from the perspective of being an instructor of record for over 5 years now, as well as being a student, an undergraduate engineering student, and also a graduate engineering student. And I can tell you directly that there is a need for such a resolution. I was the one who provided a lot of the feedback in terms of all of the resources that are available, because I have been required to use those resources through the video center. Faculty members are in a position, and I'm in a much more vulnerable position because I'm a graduate teaching assistant, and my employment is based on a semester-by-semester basis. I can tell you directly from feedback from students, both in my class this semester, that all unanimously in a group of 35 students, which is the class that I'm in, that they all unanimously agreed that having Canvas and using that as a main resource and location for the due dates and the assignments was the best option. I also went back through and looked through my feedback from the previous years. I review every one of my evaluations. And the one semester where, because I do utilize Top Hat, the one semester that I utilized Top Hat, and I did not sync those grades to my Canvas, I saw a 30% decrease in participation in the quizzes that I signed through Top Hat compared to the quizzes that I would assign on Canvas. So I can say directly as someone who utilizes Canvas as both a student and as an instructor, and because I am someone who has to take the feedback from my students, because all it takes for me is when students provide negative feedback for my department head to start asking questions, that I can do my job, then any faculty member can do their job as well. So with that in mind, I would like to add one, I would like, if I can, move to make one amendment to this bill.
I believe when you make that motion, you have to say what that amendment is.
I would like to move to change the statement that says request that professors and instead make it, sorry, it's the very last paragraph on the second page. Thank you. No. Second page? Yes. Thank you. So therefore, let it be further resolved that the Auburn University Student Center request that instructors instead of professors.
A motion has been made to amend the current resolution as listed from professors being changed to the verbiage instructors. Is there a second? Seeing a second, we will move into a vote. All of those in favor of passing this amendment as listed, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the ayes do have it, and therefore this amendment has been passed. Is there any further debate?
Also, liberal arts. Can you scroll to the first page?
So first what?
The first page. There's a
And everyone, please speak up.
there's a section where it says that it allows for something to be easily updated. I'm not sure. I believe it was the first page. I think it was at the bottom, towards the bottom of the first page.
Brandon, I'm going to ask that you identify before.
It was the second to the bottom. Sorry.
All right, we can come back. Is there any further debate? I said Gavin, I'm sorry. Yes, Gavin.
McElroy, liberal arts. While there's been a lot about students should be catered to by faculty because of tuition and all of that stuff, we have had those faculty meetings in order for it to be a collaborative effort. We're working with the faculty to utilize the program, and we all pay money for Canvas, but we want to be utilizing it as efficiently as possible. And passing this bill shows student commitment to working with the faculty and strengthening it together as we've actually consulted with them on it. So this isn't something where heads are clashing. This is something that we're passing as an ask from the students so that we can take it to the faculty and work with them, not against them. This is a collaborative effort, not something that's very like two opposing sides.
Is there any further debate?
Solid engineering. I move to amend this bill and strike the 8th and 9th whereas statements. It's the two statements talking about students using their phones. Just generally speaking, Canvas is not the only. Yes. No, the whereas and then the next one. Generally speaking, yes, those two. Canvas isn't the only platform that provides updates via your phone. You can download an app and get an update from iPad, any of the other ones if you set it up that way. I understand the benefit of having something all in one place, so all your notifications can come from one account into like 3 different apps, give you notifications. However, when we're reading this to faculty, when we're giving this to the provost, and they're reading it, the goal is supposed to be as clear and concise as possible. And when I read that, what I read is, what I say in my head is, so what? And so we're just going to read that and say, like, okay, my phones, people use their phones. They know that Canvas isn't the only app available on your phone, so I don't think that needs to be included. I think it kind of diminishes from the internet in the sense that it's like just kind of.
A motion has been made to amend the resolution and strike the 8th and 9th whereas clause. Is there a second? Seeing a second, we'll move into debate. Is there any debate?
Morgan, agriculture. The main reason for this is because there is probably over 15 different alternative resources that professors can use, and that's just on top of my head of what I can think of. And there's no way to guarantee that all of those resources do have an app on your cell phone. And there's many studies showing that college-age students actually use more than the listed hours on their phone. And having that one app with one collective calendar is the main thing, and the main reason for this resolution period is it's giving you all of your assignments on one place with one notification setting and not having to go and download My Math Lab app, Top Hat app, Alex app, which I don't even believe there is an Alex app for a smartphone. That's the reason for this, is having that collective area for students to have everything listed on calendar with updates, and that is the point of these, is to provide statistics and proof that there is a reason to have all of this on a smartphone and for students to be able to use it, and why this is so important, because students do use their smartphones constantly and will get those notifications.
Is there any further debate? I'm not sure who it... We'll go with Elizabeth.
DeVore Graduate School. I'd also like to make a point as well about, in here it does make me note that, right, making Canvas notifications the single most beneficial way to reach college students. Canvas also, in those notifications, allows you to directly set your notification so that you receive an email, and the email is an official protocol for all the universities.
Is there any further debate? Please speak up.
I think if you look at the overall ask of the bill, while that's a good point, I really do, like Russ said, this takes away from, we're asking this because it's better to have it all in one place, not necessarily on your smartphone. I mean, I guess that's why that's right now. But again, I think it just takes away from the core of the bill and why we're even asking this in the first place. So I would also agree with that.
Yes. Is there any other debate? All right, seeing no further debate, we will now move on a vote whether or not to uphold Graff's amendment, Senator Sullivan's amendment, to strike the two clauses. All of those in favor of amending and striking the two clauses, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no.
No.
The amendment does not pass, and the whereas statements are kept. We will now move back into debate on whether or not to pass this bill as written. I saw Brandon's hand, and then Kyla.
On the seventh stanza, I move to amend and strike the word easily.
Is there a second?
I know it's.
Yeah, and you may now provide the first point of debate.
I think that it's. I know you're going to say like whatever, it's just one word, but I think it's very subjective for something that we're trying to say. You know, we've done a lot of studies for, we've collected feedback and all this stuff, and I think as we're going and saying we want this passed the faculty senate, this is something that's yes easy for us. We grew up in this technology age, and that's cool, and it can be easy, and we can know that, but that's not necessary for the implementation of this. And I think that coming from when somebody reads this stanza, I really think that they're going to just stop and they're going to say, well, you're patronizing me because I don't know how to use this technology. And there is two other stanzas where you talk about the Video Center and Canvas having tech support that's able to help people use this. I don't think it's a necessary reason. We can easily do this. I know you're trying to talk about the functionality of it, but I think it just takes away from the fact that it's supposed to be objectively like, we want this. So.
Is there any further debate?
I just want to hear you. The amendment was 1414.
I voted up here.
Oh, you voted up there?
Mm-hmm. Is there any further debate on the amendment that Brandon has posed? All right. We will now move into a vote. All of those in favor of amending this resolution as written, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The ayes have it, and this amendment is passed. We will now move back into debate on Brooke's motion of whether or not to pass this resolution as written. Is there any further debate? Kyla.
Mathner, education, can we move back down to the area that we were discussing for Senator Sullivan's amendment? I move to amend this bill and strike out the first whereas statement and keep the second. I think this just avoids any redundancy, and it still gets across the point that Senator Morgan was trying to portray about how Canvas being on your phone should be included, because it's showing that other modalities aren't available in app form. But I also see, to Senator Sullivan's point, that it can be a tad distracting, and it it's maybe a little bit stray from the main point. But I think that getting rid of the first whereas statement and keeping the second would still get across the same points.
All right. So Kyla has made an amendment to remove and strike, I believe, the 8th whereas clause and keep the 9th whereas clause. So Jamie, it would have been the one on top. That one, yes. All right. Is there a second? All right, seeing a second, we'll move into debate. Is there any debate? All right, seeing none, we'll move into a vote. All of those in favor of passing this amendment as listed or as just spoken, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the amendment is passed. We now move back into the original motion from Brooke, being whether or not to pass this bill as written. Excuse me, this resolution as written. Graf?
Alumni, engineering. Can you scroll down to the 10th where statement just below right there, where it says Auburn University Center provides online resources. I'm engineering, I'm not a grammar, but I feel like, so it says Auburn University Center provides online resources to aid with importing, as well as allowing students and faculty to directly import to their campus. I feel like those two clauses aren't related and or are using the wrong verbiage or verb tenses. Once again, engineering could be some complicated grammar stuff. I know Kyle's dad's an English teacher or something.
I'd like to remind that no one can speak unless you're currently Graf.
So I guess my point of debate is just using my time to say if anyone has any clarifications to that without actually asking a question.
Well, I will just say, before anyone else does, Graf, is there a specific verb you worry about the tense of?
So it says, provides online resources to aid with importing Canvas to Outlook. You can cut out the commas, as well as allowing students So the Big Yo Resources provides aid as well as allowing.
I understand now.
Aids and aids and allows would work. But to aid.
Graph is right.
I also like to use my time while I have it to kind of express the point I made earlier. This is why we have future orders and current orders. This should have been hashed out over the course of the week with me directly talking to Senator Morgan and Senator Bryan, but instead they're sitting here debating for our tenses.
Well, would someone then like to amend? I'm personally under the opinion it should be as well as allows, and that fixes everything. Yes, and resolution, and how do you, what would you like to amend it?
To aid in supporting campus outlook, strike occupying the same application as AU email. Because that's, I feel like that's redundant. That's kind of stuff, not so there's something said, but outlook, AU email.
You need to speak up. I can't. No.
Sorry, I'm not allowed. Strike occupying the same application as AU email. Because I feel like it's redundant.
A motion has been made to strike the clause listed. Is there a second?
Can you highlight the clause?
An amendment has been made to strike the clause highlighted. Is there a second? I have not heard a second.
Are we doing one amendment at a time or all of them?
It has to be just one.
We only heard one. Are we doing multiple?
There cannot be a period in whereas, is what I was going to say. No, time out. Is there a second to the current amendment posed to strike the clause highlighted?
Second.
Okay. Listen, if everyone just, please no one speak other than myself right now. There is now something that must be voted on because it was seconded. Please, all of those in favor of amending the clause highlighted by striking it, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. No. All right, I believe the noes have it. Therefore, the amendment does not pass, and we go back to the original debate point of Brooks' initial motion being to pass this resolution as currently written. And therefore, I will call on Andrew Sadie with the next point of debate.
Sadie, business. I mean, I believe this bill is a great idea, but
It's a resolution.
They don't work all year long.
It's not funny.
Done a great job, but I really believe we're trying to push forward last second like, oh, where things coming to an end, let's just get it through. And there are a lot of things that are wrong, some things that could be changed for better. So I think that might stain the resolution if we're presenting it to the faculty. So I just don't think we should pass this.
Is there any further debate? You're not the author, but you can make a new point of debate. Reese?
I'm going to make an amendment.
Reese, what is your name in college?
Oh, sorry, let's be at large. As well as to allow students, instead of allowing, you want to get the verb tense.
I believe Reese has proposed an amendment where it says as well as allowing to now read
As well as to allow.
as well as to allow.
Provide online resources to aid. They just cut that whole part out and say online resources to allow students and faculty to.
It would, I do believe that would be correct. All right, an amendment has been posed by Reese. Jamie, I think you just have to type it.
I can't edit it until I vote on
Don't you normally show it before it's happened, or no? Okay, that's fine. In that case, the current vote, or let me rephrase that. Is there a second to let it reflect as well as to allow? Is the amendment Reese is proposing? I do hear a second, and therefore we will move into a vote. All of those in favor of now letting this whereas statement read after the comma after email as well as to allow. Yes, I do apologize. You can debate.
Matthew's point of order, are we allowed to ask questions before debate of amendments or no?
Yes, you are. Would you like to ask a question?
I would just like the explanation. I don't know what's going on. I'm not good with English either. As Senator Solomon says, I would like the full explanation so that everybody's clarified on the amendment.
I will allow Reese to answer that question.
Okay, so some people were saying it should say as well as allows. If it would say allows, it would need to say provides online resources aid, like to aids, like that doesn't work. It says to aids, it needs to say to allow. To be correct me if I'm wrong, but I agree.
Is there any?
The whole phrase out, sorry. If you took the whole phrase out, it should be able to still read correctly. Like if you took out to aid with importing, your comma as well makes it correct. So it should be able to say online resources to allow.
Thank you. Is there any other questions? Yes. Please speak loudly.
Starling School of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences. So is this whereas statement not trying to provide the verb importing to both Outlook and Google Calendar? So could there not be a way to shorten that and just say aid in importing Kim's calendars to Outlook and into a user's Google Calendar? They're not a way to, because it's kind of saying the same thing. Because it just extended, you're still importing Canvas calendar into a user's Google Calendar, but you just extended the sentence to say as well as allowing students and faculty to directly.
So, Brooke, would you like to answer that question?
Morgan, Agriculture. So the point of that was Outlook is Auburn's preferred method of email, and we wanted to really harp on that. That's our preferred, but then as well as that, students really use Google email and Google Calendar a lot, but that's not Auburn's preferred method, and that's why they're separated as to what Auburn uses and what most students use as well.
All right. Kyla, do you have a question?
Master education, is the phrase as well as referring to what came just before it or what came before that? Do you know what I'm asking? Like, is as well as tacking onto what you could say right after Outlook or tacking it onto email? Like, I don't know what it's saying as well as. Like, what is the as well as?
Brooke, would you like to answer that?
What's after as well as and what is that with? Like, what are you saying as well as before that?
But you can import, Morgan, Agriculture, saying that importation of Canvas Calendar can be done for Outlook as well as Google Calendar, so the importing would be for both, if that's what you're asking.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but I'm pretty good at reading in English, and I just like to make the note that I do think re-saying as well as to allow upholds the integrity of every clause. And therefore, we can now continue questions on Reese's current amendment to change allowing to say as well as to allow. Because you have to look at the first verb, and that first verb is provides. It provides with importing, and it provides as well as to allow. I think.
Provides to aid, provides.
So are there any more questions on Reese's amendment posed? Yes, Kyla.
Master education, I think I have a better way of asking this now. Is the verb allowing provides? Like you're saying it provides as well as allows? Or are you saying importing as well as allowing?
I would say Morgan Agriculture provides as well as allows. So Big EO would not be the one directly importing Canvas calendar, but you can do that if that is what you're asking. So it would be both. Yeah, it would be both. Providing from Big EO and then importing as well would be separate.
So
For Google Calendar. I don't
are
know.
those verbs working together is what I'm asking to do the same thing?
Yes.
Reese, do you have another question?
I moved to yield my time to Tyler.
Yes. Tyler, if you have a question or would like to speak.
I do not have a question, but what y'all are missing is y'all are trying to get the verb right that you don't have the content. And if you get the content, then you can get the verb. So when you go, you look at the sentence. So the first part is about the Big EO Center providing online resources to aid with important Canvas calendars to Outlook, which occupies the same application as AU email, right? And so when you say allowing students and faculty to directly import their Canvas calendars into a user's Google Calendar, that has nothing to do with what the Big EO Center is doing unless you're saying that they're providing the online resources to do it. If you're saying that the Big EO Center provides that to, then you have to say to allow because you said provides online resources to aid. And so if they're going to aid, you have to allow. But you need to make sure that when you're reading this, that you're asking for the same people to do the same job that you're asking in the second clause.
Which is what I said. So, if we can all, let me ask, are there any further questions about Reese's current amendment to change allowing to allows? To allow, excuse me. To allow. All right, with that, we'll move into debate. Is there any debate on this proposed amendment? I'm seeing none, and therefore we'll move into a vote. All of those in favor of amending allowing to read to allow, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. Please refrain from conversating outside of debate. Therefore, we move back into the original motion made by Brooke, being to pass this resolution as currently written with, I believe, the 3 proposed and passed amendments made.
I have a point of inquiry.
Yes, Brandon.
Is it the case, or Bells for Liberal Arts, is it the case that a whereas statement cannot contain a period, or is it just suggested that it does not contain a period?
I will say that I do not know the answer to that question. I've been under the impression that every piece of legislation I've seen has not had a period in a whereas statement, considering that they're all...
The fourth from last. I say that, Bells for Liberal Arts, I say that because the fourth from last statement contains a period.
Where are you seeing that?
Below. Roll.
Jamie.
Jones at large, point of order. Can we move to table this bill? Because obviously there's a lot of problems with it. I think it needs to go back and be done through the correct process.
A motion cannot be made on a point of order. And we were also still in Brandon's point of order. So hold that thought and let Brandon finish.
Okay, so you see at the end of Canvas that support option, with guide giving support in accordance with the user's roles and needs, period. New features, should that not be a semicolon? Isn't it not allowed to have the period, or is it just not, or is it just recommended to not have the period?
Whereas statements are statements, so they should be full sentences.
Full
yes.
sentences?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can either make
Or-
it into a full sentence or separate them into 2 whereas statements. It's really dealer's choice.
All right. I move to make an amendment and change the period to a semicolon and take the first lowercase, make the capital N on new lowercase.
And that would actually will tweak that because that's
Is there a second?
That
So like
should be
that?
separate. No, I meant to keep them the same
Oh, I see, I understand.
statement.
Is there a second? It is seconded. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move to debate. Is there any debate? Yes, Gavin?
McElroy, liberal arts. This resolution is a question of whether or not you want us to keep productively working with faculty to implement positive change for Auburn students, as well as represent an issue strongly voiced by your constituents. If you want us to do that, vote yes. If you do not, vote no.
Point of order. What is that? We're still debating the amendment.
Yeah, the debate is on the amendment. Is there any further debate on Brandon's amendment to add a semicolon in lieu of a period? All right, therefore we'll move into a vote. All of those in favor of allowing this resolution to reflect a semicolon instead of a period, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. All right. The amendment is passed, meaning that this is now a clause that does not contain a period. And next, I will allow debate to resume on the current motion, being to pass this resolution as written, made by Brooke. I know Gavin and JDJ, but JDJ, I'll allow you to go first.
Jones at large, I'd like to move to table this bill. Obviously, there's a lot of problems with it. It needs to go back to the right procedure that I think that we're missing here. You can fix all these errors, so I'd like to move to table the bill.
For context, if you table this bill, it's not going to go back to the committee, not going to go back to the Senate exec, it's just going to go right back to the table. You're not going to either pull it back and kill it, or it's just going to live there until your term is over. Like
Okay,
to,
so the proper would be to kill it and then have them.
to vote on it, yes.
Okay. So
But if you want, I don't know where the understanding came from to push something back through Senate exec. You can't move the fish back upstream. Once it's on the floor, it gets voted on, and if you table it, it sits on the table until you pull it back, but you can't push the fish back upstream after this.
Would you like to revise the motion that you proposed?
I mean, I guess at that point, they would just not. I mean, yeah, I guess we can table the bill.
Okay. The motion still stands to table the resolution where it will remain until we either take it off or pull it indefinitely. And because of that, I now ask for any questions on the motion currently proposed by Senator Jones. Kyla, yes, do you have a question?
Master Education, will tabling this bill negate all of the amendments that we have made?
I do believe so. Let Kaylee check.
Actually,
I do think that, I think it would negate all the changes made.
Can I withdraw my motion?
No, I don't think you can withdraw a motion, but we can vote on that motion.
yeah, in theory, yeah.
All right. As Kaylee checks,
It's a great question.
that is a very tedious question, and I'm glad you asked it. If everyone could hold from conversating until Kaylee has an answer. Is it conversing? I think it's conversing, not conversating. It could be conversating. If everyone, I'll just kind of explain what's going on right now. If everyone could please give me their attention. I'm currently waiting for Kaylee and Taylor just to do some research because it's a very great question that was just posed by Kyla, being if we were to table this bill upon the current motion that we are on of the evening, which is Senator Jones' tabling motion, would all of the edits that have currently been made no longer be present on the document? Yes, Kyla, do you have another question? All right. Because tabling is technically just postponing discussion, it doesn't negate the discussion, it would just put it back on the table. So I'm under the opinion, after reading, to table a discussion, a clause in Robert's rules, that the edits would remain. And so, with that in mind, that answers Kyle's question. Are there any further questions for Mr. Jones? Yes, question.
Justin Engineering, so did he withdraw his motion?
No, you cannot withdraw a motion. We're currently asking if there are any questions on that motion.
Morgan, Agriculture, what benefit is tabling going to give at this point for the resolution?
Jones, at large, to be quite honest with you, I think that we should just vote it down and allow it to go back through your committee, and that way it can go through the right procedure at this time. And that way we can have all the grammatical errors fixed and convey everything we're trying to say instead of, I guess, trying to push it back to the table and then this really ever gets fixed and we'll just sit here and debate.
Are there any further questions? Seeing none, we'll move into debate. Is there any debate? All right, just to clarify, I believe what Senator Jones was saying is that he was not requesting favor in approving his motion to table, but instead waiting to vote on Brooks' initial motion to pass this resolution. Because putting it on the table would just keep it on the table. So, with that being said, we are now going to move into a vote, seeing that there is no further debate. All of those in favor of tabling this resolution, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The noes have it, and the motion does not carry. We now move back into the first motion made on this resolution by author Morgan, which is to pass this resolution as written and as currently amended. Pope, you are next.
Johnson Business, again, we all have our opinions out there, and so I think we're at the point of either we need to kill this bill or pass it, so I move to end debate.
Is there a second? It is seconded. Are there any questions? Do I ask for debate on a motion to end debate? I think that defeats the purpose, and therefore, we're going to move into a vote. All of those in favor of ceasing debate, please vote aye. Excuse me. Please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The ayes have it, and debate will cease. Therefore, we move into a vote. All of those in favor of passing this resolution as written, please say aye and comment yes. All of those opposed, please say no and comment no. The noes have it, and this resolution does not pass. The rules were initially suspended to move this from a future to a current order, meaning that this concludes current orders for the evening, and we no longer have future orders. Therefore, the resolution does not pass. All right, you guys. Time for my updates for the evening. Very cool thing that Leah mentioned earlier is that Operation Iron Ruck is coming up this weekend. Something she's been talking about a lot in here. I'm very excited to show and use you guys to help promote really what that is and explain the importance behind it. And so we are going to have a graphic Leah sent to me about 2 weeks ago. I've been waiting to send it out to all of you, and I was going to wait to do that until it got closer. So in my recap email, I'm going to include that graphic, as I would love for us to post that sometime during the week of Thanksgiving, sometime next week. So I'll send a reminder about that. Second, as I know I had asked you all, and thank you, I saw most of you did, post that graphic about declarations of intent in the information session that was that night. Tyler, thank you very much, provided me with a graphic that does not have information related to an info session, so it's just the information on where to find the declaration of intent forms, as well as what campaigns are. I will be including that graphic, and I would ask that that graphic get posted as soon as the recap email comes out tomorrow. But I'll include information on that. Tyler mentioned it again, but I'm going to reiterate that tomorrow is the Fall Feast, or the Family Feast. That's SGA sponsored by our outreach branch. A really cool event. It's with ISO, and that's tomorrow from 5 to 10 p.m., and all of us are invited as members of SGA. I think it would be really cool to go. I know that ISO really enjoys it. The holiday lighting ceremony is coming up. Tyler, what date is the holiday lighting ceremony? Sunday night. Sunday night after Iron Bowl. It's a really cool experience. Yes, Brandon? Yes, the Fall Feast is at the Edge from 5 to 10 p.m. tomorrow. Holiday lighting ceremony Sunday after the Iron Bowl game. This is really cool. I was unaware of this until today. SGA actually owns that tree because we bought it with the student activity fees many years ago. So the tree getting lit is ours. And so I feel like it's ours. So we should go and support that tree being lit. I thank you all for your participation this evening and for your attention to detail. I ask that we just finish out the year strong and we continue to respect each other, and most importantly, respect the rules of the Senate procedures, which I think tonight we did to the best of our abilities. I apologize for not having some answers, but just know that I will always try and be as fast as I can alongside Taylor, Kaylee, Jet, and Jamie to provide you with the best answers to the questions at hand. So I thank you all for your patience this evening as we didn't have immediate answers for some of the content. And I think it's cool moving forward for anyone who pursues re-election to be able to have that knowledge and these experiences, as well as the members who are attending in this room. So my final point is that, once again, Mary Kate Hillis did ask me to say a reminder to all of you, she's the Executive Director of Elections, that those forms are due December 1st. And so any of you who are considering rerunning as on a ticket or just in general, to fill out that declaration of intent form by December 1st. Thank you all for being here. I have no further information or updates to provide, so this meeting is adjourned. Be safe, be smart, and be kind.